Hello everyone, hello. Well, welcome to the first live stream of spring stargazing from your window from We the Curious. My name is Paul. I am We the Curious is assistant planetarium producer, assistant planetarium producer. And I will be taking you through some of the things you will be able to see tonight from your window, perhaps, in the nighttime sky. And what I'm going to be doing is using a bit of software called Stellarium, and it's a planetarium software. And the great thing about this software is that it is absolutely free. Yes, anyone can download it, even you, especially you. So Stellarium.org is where you want to go. It doesn't take up much space on your computer. You can download it for free, and you can also put it on your phone as an app. I think you get some extras that you have to pay for on the app on your phone, but you can use loads of it for free on your phone too. And that's what I'm going to be using to help you to find the stars. We're going to be looking at patterns in the stars, and this is for people who don't usually do stargazing. That's what this is for. So if you generally look at the nighttime sky and you're like, how the heck do people see patterns, pictures up here? It's just a load of dots. This is for you. This episode in particular is where do we start? And along the way, as well as the patterns, maybe we'll find some extra stuff too. Now, I just want to check that I am actually broadcasting to people, because I've never done this before. It's all new to me. So perhaps if I check the chat function, perhaps some of you can just say hello if you are indeed hearing my voice and seeing my beautiful face. So let's have a little look. Oh, yes, loads of comments already. Hello, Rachel Wood. Hi, how exciting. I'm very excited as well. Yes. Hello to all of you. Fantastic. Looks like you can indeed see me. That is very exciting. Well, that's a good start, isn't it? Okay, well, as I was saying, we're going to use Stellarium that you can find at stellarium.org, absolutely free, and I'm going to use it to show you some things to look for. So let's go over to Stellarium and we'll see what we can find. So we've got a beautiful daytime sky, which looks lovely, but is no good to us because we can only see one star at the moment, the sun, and it is a star that you must never look directly at. So if I go bring my cursor over to the left here, a menu should appear. Let's see if I can do that. Here we go. Here's my little menu. By the way, I am going to be reading out the shortcuts that I'm using, the keyboard shortcuts to make things happen on Stellarium here for you. It's not going to be a comprehensive guide to Stellarium. I would encourage you to download it yourself, have a little play around with it. Oh, and by the way, if you can't see much from your window, it depends where you are, then use Stellarium instead. Maybe try and find all the stuff I'm showing you now on Stellarium on your computer from the safety of your own home. Anyway, I'm going to be saying aloud the keyboard shortcuts that I will be using, so you can follow along a little bit. And I'm afraid I have to warn you in advance, I've got a bit of a nasty habit that I've picked up from The Simpsons, as a matter of fact. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer has to work from home, very appropriate to our current situation, and he's using his keyboard and he's referring to his control button as Catal and page up as pig up. And ever since I've watched that episode, I too have that habit of referring to control as Catal and page up as pig up and that kind of thing. So if I lapse into that throughout this tutorial, throughout this show, you're going to have to forgive me. Anywho, let's carry on. We've got this menu on the side that I found with my cursor, and we want date, time, and window, that little clock there. Let's click on it. So we've got our little date and time here, 21st of April 2020. That's what we want. That's today, 11:05. So it's time to time travel. We're going to go into the future. Hold on tight. Oh, there we go. You can see the sun going across the sky. Beautiful sunset. It is now 9:05. Let's take us a little bit later. Here we go. 9:30. How about that? Lovely. Not too late, not too early. Perfect. So as you can see, we've got these little cardinal points at the bottom here telling us where we're looking. Of course, you don't have these in real life. So in real life, how do you know which direction you're looking in? Well, that's part of what I'm going to explain to you today, hopefully. But for the time being, let's just turn around. Now imagine if you were looking out your window. Then give yourself a few minutes. Don't rush to see anything. Let your eyes adjust to the dark. Now you might have a lot of street lamps around where you are. That's okay, because the street lamps, the light pollution, can sometimes be our friend when we're stargazing, because the light pollution drowns out the more distant stars, the less bright stars. And it means the more bright, the more distinct stars really stand out. And the stars I'm about to show you are pretty bright and pretty distinct, so they're actually easier to see, I think, if you've got a bit of light pollution around you. But like I said, give yourself a few minutes. Give your eyes time to adjust. Like I said, you don't have these handy little directional point things in real life, so have a look around the whole sky. Just take your time. By the way, while we're adjusting our eyes, just to let you know, there's a little chat function on here. So, and I've said hello to many of you already. If anybody's got questions about space or about anything we're looking at today, just type them into the chat function and I'll have a look at them in a minute and we'll see if we can answer them together. But anyway, let's have a look for these stars. We're going to look up now. Turn our necks up to the sky. And the pattern I want to show you is made out of 7 really bright stars. Some of you may have spotted them already. I'm going to point them out to you now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I say that? 7 really bright stars? Anyway, that's how many there are. 7 really bright stars that we want to look at. And they make this really distinctive shape here. Now that shape we're looking at there has lots of names. It's generally referred to as the plough. In America they call it the Big Dipper. They think it looks like a big spoon. Here, well, in Wales, where I come from originally, I'm in Bristol at the moment, but I originally come from Wales, and there we call it the saucepan. And as you can see, the saucepan is currently upside down. There's the pan, there's the handle. You can just imagine all those baked beans falling on our heads. There we go. Now that saucepan is the best place to start when you're stargazing. It really is the best place because you can see it all year round. It's really bright, really distinctive, really easy to spot. And like I said, the light pollution can actually make it stand out a little bit more. Once you've found the saucepan, you're well on your way into your stargazing journey. Now, there's a little story about the saucepan that I'm quite fond of. It's an African-American story from the United States. And the story goes that when people who had been enslaved during the time of slavery in America escaped, they needed to head towards the northern states to freedom. And apparently there was a folk song around that time called Follow the Drinking Gourd. I don't know how it goes, so I'm not going to sing it for you. You'll be sorry to hear. But the story goes that this song, Follow the Drinking Gourd, was actually directions towards freedom. Because if they follow the drinking gourd, and you may have figured out that the drinking gourd is the saucepan, if they followed the saucepan, then they would be heading towards the northern states and towards freedom. Now, the jury's still out amongst historians whether that is true or not. Some historians have disputed the historical accuracy of that story, but it's quite a nice story anyway, so I thought I'd share it. And it's actually relevant to what I want to talk about now, because the saucepan directs us to a very important star. And what we're going to do is go from the lip of the pan here, this star on the lip of the pan. This is our pointer star. In fact, these two stars here are our pointer stars together, and they're pointing the way. And the distance between these two stars, we're going to jump from the lip of the pan and jump that distance 5 times, roughly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We found this little star here. It's not the brightest in the sky, so don't go looking for the brightest star you can see, but it's bright enough to make out, even with light pollution, and it's a very important star. I'm going to left click on it now, so you can see what it's called. Oh, got the wrong one. That's a good start, isn't it? Okay, let's try that again. Here's it go. Ah, I did have the right one. I think I just clicked on the star next to it. Oh well, there we go. It's a live show. Yes, I did have the right star. That's good news, isn't it? And as you can see, it's called Polaris. Polaris. So we'll right click off that, get rid of that writing. Don't worry about that other information. We're not bothered about that for the moment. Now, you may have heard of Polaris under a different name. It's also known as the North Star. And the reason for this is because the North Star never ever seems to move. All the other stars will seem to move through the nighttime sky as the world turns. But the North Star always seems to stay in the same place. And the reason for this is because it's directly above the North Pole, where Father Christmas lives. And as a result, the closest bit of land to that star is always north. Look at that. Now that star will never ever seem to move from that point, and this means that everything else in the sky, including the Saucepan, will seem to travel around the North Star. So I said earlier on, didn't I, that we don't know which way we're looking in real life because we don't have these handy little letters. But if we find the Saucepan and we use it to find the North Star, then we know exactly which way we're looking at. And this is why people used to follow the drinking gourd, because they knew that it pointed towards the north. Now, the thing to remember about the Saucepan is that it's not a constellation. Now, constellations are the names for the patterns in the stars that we use to map the nighttime sky. The official patterns that we use to map the nighttime sky. And what that means, official, is officially recognised by the International Astronomical Union. And there are 88 patterns that are officially recognised. And these are our constellations. And the Saucepan is not one of them. Oh no. The Saucepan is an unofficial shape. Handy little unofficial shape to find in the sky. That doesn't make it any less useful. And we call these unofficial handy little shapes in the sky asterisms. So that's what the Saucepan is. It's an asterism. But I am going to show you a constellation now, and to find it at this moment in time, and you'll remember the time now is 9:39 at night, and we're looking down towards the ground, down towards the top of the houses, and we're looking towards the northeast. So you've used the North Star, you know you're looking towards the north, turn a little bit towards the northeast, and you're looking for a very bright star. This one here, and this star is called Vega. Now Vega, as you can see, it's a lot brighter than the stars around it, so it might be a little bit easier to spot. But what might not be so easy to spot is the constellation, the officially recognized pattern around Vega. Now you might have noticed that Vega is part of this M shape here. I think it looks like an M anyway. Bit of product placement in the sky, like a big McDonald's sign, bit of corporate branding. Of course, it could look like a number 3. It's up to you. It's up to your imagination, really. Let's zoom in on it. I'm going to press Pig Up to zoom in on the constellation a bit. And I might need to... what I'll do is left click on Vega, and if I press the space bar, oh, look at that. That centers it for me. Anywho, we've got this lovely number 3 shape. As you can see, the closer we look to it, the less distinct these stars seem. So what I could do is maybe give you the outline of it. If I click on Vega, there we go. And what I'm going to do is press C. So you can see that's the outline of it, and it doesn't look like a number 3 anymore. This is because the ancient Greeks, who first described this constellation, or at least it's their description that we use today in the official designation. The ancient Greeks, they thought this looked like a magic harp called lyra. And according to the ancient Greeks, anyone who played this magic harp would play music so beautiful that even the trees in the forest would come and listen to that music being played. Let's see if I can get a picture of that up. I pressed C to get the lines up. Now to get the art up, I'm going to press R. There we go. Fantastic. We've got a bit of artwork there of lyra, perhaps how the ancient Greeks imagined it. I want to say at this point, it's not just the ancient Greeks. I don't want to give the impression that it's just the ancient Greeks who saw these pictures. All kinds of cultures and civilizations saw different shapes and patterns in the stars, and they've all got their own stories about them. It just so happens that the official constellations are closely associated still with the ancient Greek stories. Anywho, there's a reason I'm showing you lyra. And what I'm going to do is zoom out again by pressing pig down. And we're just going to get, there's a tantalizing glimpse of another constellation up there, but I'm going to tease you with that because I'm going to get rid of it for now. So I press R and C again. Now, there's a reason I'm showing you lyra, because at the moment, from the direction of lyra tonight, you might see something rather exciting. And I'm going to press another button here. Let's see if I remember. It's Control, Alt, and M. Oh, no. I beg your pardon. Control, Shift, and M. Oh, there we go. And this little green thing has appeared next to lyra. What on earth is that? Well, that is a little symbol that Stellarium has to show us that there is a meteor shower coming from the direction of lyra, which is right here. That's right. Tonight, you will be able to see meteors, shooting stars. Well, shooting stars, what are they? What are meteors? Well, they are little bits of rock and dust and debris falling through our atmosphere and burning up as they do so. And it just so happens that a lot of these meteor showers happen at the same time every year. So we can predict when they're going to happen. And there is one happening right now. We are currently, the planet Earth that is currently flying through a trail of this dust and debris in space. And as it does so, little bits of rock and dust are burning up in our atmosphere every night. Now, what was the time? Let's have a look. 9:45 now. Now, 9:45, you might see a few. You might see a few shooting stars. If you do go out tonight, make sure it's during your designated exercise period, of course, and make sure it's safe for you to do so. Don't spend too long craning your neck. Take a little blanket outside to have a little lie down on, perhaps, or a little deck chair if you can, because you don't want to. Because to see these meteors, you need to look for quite a while. Let your eyes adjust, and you're not going to see them all at once. You might see one or two every now and again, but they'll be coming from the direction of lyra. Of course, if you want to see this meteor shower at its peak, then what you need to do is stay up a little bit later. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to take us forward in time. So we'll go to date time again, and let's take us forward in time. Here you go. 1:45. That'll do. Fantastic. Now the reason I'm taking you a little bit later is because this meteor shower reaches its peak between midnight and 3 o'clock, roughly, tomorrow morning. So if you want to see, have the best chance of seeing some meteors, some shooting stars tonight, then that is what you need to do. Stay up between midnight and 3. You might see some about 9:30, but your best chance is between midnight and 3, and you may see between about 10 and 15 in an hour. So it's not going to happen all at once, but you might have a good shot of seeing them. There is one thing I want to draw your attention to now that we've gone forward in time. Look at this. The saucepan's moved. It was up there. Now it's around here. I mentioned earlier on, didn't I, that the saucepan is going around the North Star as we go through the night. And you notice that Lyra has moved too. It's still in the northeast, roughly, but it's a lot higher. That's Vega, and that's that number 3 shape there. And the meteors, the shooting stars, should be coming from around here. Oh, did you see one then? That was very exciting, wasn't it? We actually saw one. There we go. Even Stellarium will show you some of these shooting stars. And as I mentioned, we're not, that's how it will be. You'll just see one or two every now and again. They're not all going to come at you at once. Now, that's enough for me talking for a bit. I think what we'll do now is head towards Facebook. And I'm going to see if anybody's got any questions or anything they'd like me to elaborate on. Let's have a look. Haha, here we go. So, brilliant. Loads of people. Alex has asked, what computer program is this? Just a reminder, this is Stellarium, stellarium.org, absolutely free. Let's keep on going. My 7-year-old says, does the moon have a smell? That is a fantastic question. Oh, and somebody's answered, actually. Andy Elms has answered burnt gunpowder, according to Neil Armstrong. There we go. I didn't know that. So this is actually teaching me. This is quite interesting. Lovely. Fantastic. Apparently, the moon smells like burnt gunpowder. Let's keep on going. Kelly Lorraine Francis, I'm loving this, it's amazing, but do all stars have a name? That's a really good question. I think a lot of oh, here we go. A lot of the stars do have a name. To be honest, a lot of them are quite boring names, lots of letters and stuff, but they do all have names, yes. Let's keep going. Jonathan Brooks, there was no McDonald's in ancient Greece, I'm afraid. Sadly not. Not even their reach can get that far out. My 5-year-old wants to know how long you studied. Well, Rachel Bellamy has asked that. That's a really good question. I am very much an amateur here. I started working in planetariums in about 2005. So in Techniquest in Cardiff, and I've been working in planetariums since then. I work in We the Curious in Bristol now, and so I've been working quite a long time, about 15 years, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means. I'm just really interested in it, and I pick up bits and bobs here and there from things like Stellarium and from things like this. So Rachel Bellamy and your 5-year-old, that's all you need to do, really. You don't need to go to university. All you need to do is just be curious, just be interested in it, and you'll pick it up here and there. And of course, you've got the sky itself to look at as well. Kate Pierce has asked, can we see the Starling Satellites tonight? That's a good question too. The Starling Satellites are Elon Musk's satellites. A lot of astronomers aren't that keen on them because they spoil the view a bit. And I've got to be honest though, I am quite excited whenever I see a satellite in the sky. If you see a bright light that's moving quite quickly through the sky but isn't flashing, chances are you've seen a satellite. You see aeroplanes have flashing wing lights and satellites don't. And that's how you know you're looking at a satellite, because it won't be flashing. It'll just be a steady point of light that's moving quite fast through the sky. And I still get quite excited whenever I see a satellite. And sometimes Stellarium will show them too. Now the Starling satellites, Elon Musk satellites, yes, you can see them at the moment. I wrote it down actually. They'll go from the west to the northeast about 10:34 tonight. And but if you want to know when you'll see them each night, then go to findstarlink.com, and that'll let you know, and that'll tell you when's the best time to see them from your part of the world as well. And what you should see with Elon Musk satellites, with the Starling satellites, is tiny little dots all moving in a row together. Let's see if we've got any more questions. Why do stars go across the sky? Charlotte Matthews has asked. From Amelie, that question is. Well, the reason the stars seem to move for us is because planet Earth is moving. Planet Earth is spinning around on its axis, and as a result, everything we're looking at seems to be moving from our perspective. But in fact, it's us moving. Of course, the North Star doesn't seem to move because it's right above the North Pole, right at the top. So if you imagine everything on Earth spinning around and that's staying still. Of course, stars themselves do move, but we won't notice that change for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So, don't expect any of these constellations to shift position, shift their patterns anytime soon, but they will seem to move across the sky throughout the year as planet Earth spins on its axis. And of course, planet Earth is moving around the sun as well. It takes a whole year for planet Earth to move around the sun. Well, there's loads. Oh, somebody's asked you, Kelly Lorraine Francis, do you have to have a degree to do your job? Well, I've got a degree in history, as a matter of fact. Like I said, I'm very much a really enthusiastic amateur when it comes to all this. So, I wouldn't say you have to have a degree. All you got to be is curious about it, like I said earlier on. And Imogen, aged 8, wants to know if all stars make a shape. That's a brilliant question too. Well, like I said, there's 88 of these shapes altogether. But there's nothing stopping you from making your own shapes. Of course, that's the lovely thing about the sky. You can just look at it and use your imagination, and you can make it. It's like dot-to-dot pictures, really. You can make your own patterns, your own constellations. Well, what I'd like to do is just finish now, because we're coming up to 28 minutes. So what I'd like to do is go back to Stellarium, and I'm just going to show you all these as many constellations as I can, just to give you an idea of how many of these shapes are up there. So if I press C, that's just some of the ones I was looking at earlier on. But if I press Alt and W, hopefully, yes, look at that, we got the rest of them. And let's get the artwork up too. Fantastic, look at that. So there's loads of constellations up there. Some of them are easier to see than others. Some of them you can see all year round. I wonder if anyone can still see the Saucepan. If you can still see the Saucepan, we're not going to talk about that now. We'll talk about that on Thursday, because I'll be coming back on Thursday to do another session. But yes, the Saucepan, you might notice, is part of a bigger shape, another constellation. But yeah, some of these, like the Saucepan and the shape that it's a part of, you can see all year round. Others you can only see at certain seasons. Others you'd have to go to the other side of the world, to Australia, to see them. But there's loads of these patterns. And of course there's nothing stopping you from making up your own. So yeah, do come back on Thursday. We're going to try it again on Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning again on Facebook. And if I didn't get round to your question today, hopefully maybe I'll be able to get round to it on Thursday. So, and like I said, we'll be having a look at that constellation of which the Saucepan is a part. And I'll tell you a bit more detail about that. Also on Thursday, if you get a chance tonight, either on Stellarium or in the sky, to take a look in the real, take a look at the sky and see if you can find the North Star. See if you can find the Saucepan. See if you can see the Lyrids, the meteors. By the way, I don't think I explained, did I? They're called the Lyrids because they seem to come from Lyra. Yeah. So anyway, if you can see the Lyrids, the shooting stars tonight, do let us know. Do let us know if you found the Saucepan. Let us know if you found the North Star. And, well, hopefully I'll see you again on Thursday. Thank you very much, everyone. That's fantastic. Thank you.